What is up, all you spunky monkeys, fish tank junkies, King Kongs of aquariums? You watch Aquatics with the original UFO, the unadulterated funky one. I gotta get more fish. My little fish setup, breeding for profit thing, is coming along nicely, and it's time for me to get some breeding stock. So I'm gonna bring you guys along so I can show you what I'm looking for. Everybody's different, but for the most part, the rules that I'm about to lay out, my criteria for myself, is something that you really want to think about when thinking about breeding for profit. Hey, so listen, if this is your first time visiting my channel, first of all, I would like to say I appreciate you for stopping by. And then if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and notification bell. I would truly appreciate that. My channel is all about helping people out who, for whatever reason, don't feel comfortable with the status quo. That's where I come in. I'll put it to you very plainly and simply and easy for you to understand. So hit that notification bell so that every time I put something on, you guys are the first one to catch it. Also, please hit that thumbs up. For you, it's just a little thumb movement, but for me, it's priceless. Costs you nothing. When you hit that thumbs up, YouTube says, hey, this video seems to be worth watching. Let's go ahead and push it out to the masses. Thank you in advance. You may like a specific fish, but that doesn't mean everybody's gonna like it. You know what I mean? If you're breeding fish for profit with the sole purpose of making money and selling as many fish as you can, you might want to go down to a couple of pet stores and talk to the owners and say, hey, look, I'm thinking about starting a breeding for profit project. What would sell? What would you buy for me? What do you need on a regular basis? And if they tell you it's something that you aren't really interested in, you know, you got to make that decision. Do you want to breed something you're not interested in? You got to keep the business aspect and the hobby aspect of it kind of separate. You just need to know what you want to do. I came to get some new breeding stock, and this is some of the things I want to go over with you when you're looking for fish for breeding for profit. One is, can you resell it? Because it don't make no sense to get yourself a fish that nobody's looking for. Angels are a pretty good bet when you're looking for breeding for profit. There's a bunch of other different fish out there. For instance, you might not want to do convicts because everybody and their uncle has convicts. You know, there are different things. The best thing I would suggest for you to do if you're looking to breed for profit at your some of your local pet stores is ask them, hey, I'm thinking about breeding for profit. What would you buy off me? Guppies are almost always a good bet. Shrimp are a big thing these days. So, you know, it's something for you to think about. Once you decided on what type of fish that you're going to breed, now you have to make the decision over getting your breeding stock. Where are you going to get these breeder fish from? Now, there's a whole lot of things you need to take into consideration. You do not want to start out breeding for fish. I mean, it's a lot of time, money, effort, and you don't want to be selling no inferior fish, because then you get the reputation of all, and these people do talk, these little pet store people do talk. You don't want to be known as a guy that's breeding bunk fish. All right, so from the first time that I came here, these guys kept jumping out at me. These are the Bulgarian green seal points, and you can see the green. If you know anything about seal points, you'll know the difference. There's Bulgarian seal points that are white, and then they have these guys with the green on them. And first thing you want to look for is, stop looking at the fins. Do not look at the fins, okay? Look at what the fish is doing. This fish is out in the open. It's not hiding. I'm sure if they put some food in there, it would go to the food. So seeing how its fins, well, now I want you to look at the fins. They're erect, they're wide open. He's not having issues acclimating to this tank as far as, you know, his mental capacity goes. He's happy. You know what I mean? When fish are not happy, especially angels, their fins clamp up. This guy is not hiding. His fins are open, and he looks like I'm bothering him a little bit, but at least he's reacting. Here's another guy out front and center. Angels should always be hungry at all times. Let me show you something. If I lift this up and they do what I think they're gonna do, look, see? Here, look at this guy. He's coming to the top. This guy over here, coming to the top. They want to be fed at all times. An angelfish that is not hungry, look at that. If you can get somebody to feed them, then do that. Now, as you can see, their bellies were full to begin with. So having a skinny angelfish is something that I would pass up. I wouldn't pass up an angelfish that wasn't attacking food. I wouldn't pick an angelfish that didn't have its fins erect and spread out. And I wouldn't pick an angelfish that was hiding in a corner. Don't just get like, you know, two. Oh, that's definitely a male, that's definitely a female. A lot of things can happen. One thing that can happen is those two particular fish may not be digging each other. It happens. One fish may be sterile. One of the fish might die. One of the fish might grow with a deformity. So what I would do is I would actually stack the deck. Get yourself a couple of fish to pick from. That way, as they grow up, you can actually pick out which is the best ones of those 6 fish. If they're breeding, you know, if you got 2 males that are both willing to breed with a female, and one is small and not so, you know, as desirable as the other one, well, you know, you have a choice. If you've only gotten 2 fish, a male and a female, whatever you got is what you're working with. You see that right there? That's a well-adjusted angelfish. At this point, now you want to look at their fins. I mean, their scales. Do you see any cuts, scrapes, bruises, fungus, ick? You see any of that stuff? If you don't, then check out his gill plates. Make sure his fins aren't tattered from any fin rot or anything like that.
Not breathing heavy.
Yeah, he's not breathing heavy. Now, I do want you to see one thing when it comes to fins. There's 2 issues when it comes to fins. One is, are their fins deformed? Now, I want you to know that deformation, let me get it here. Deformation is a genetic issue. None of these fish have any deformations. But if you look at that one back there, right there, one of his pectoral fins is smaller than the other. From looking at it, it looks like it's a wound. So that means it happened. Something bit it off, it got broke off or something like that. It is not a DNA trait. So its babies will not have that short fin. It's just, you know, just because you got your leg cut off, that don't mean your baby's gonna come out with one leg, right? So look at the eyes, clear. It's not cloudy. He's alert. So these would be good picks for breeding stock. Now there's another tank with 2 more. I want to check those guys out. They're a little bit bigger because you also want to get the biggest you can. Not saying that 100% the biggest fish you get is the best fish, but it's a good indicator that they're very, very healthy. Me personally, I feel like I'm on a time crunch. This is something that I came to Florida for. Here it is, a year, 2.5, 3 years later, and I'm just now really getting around to doing it like I want to do it. Too many things got in my way, so I feel like I'm in a time crunch. So I'm gonna go ahead and spring for the bigger fish. The bigger fish are mature and ready to breed. Now, what you can do, if you have time, and this is just a hobby, and you're not pressing yourself to perform in some type of way, buy yourself a multitude of smaller fish. That way, you got time to ease your way with supplies and tanks and all that stuff. I happen to have all that stuff. So for me to get baby, you know, dime-sized fish and wait 6 to 8 months, and for them to start breeding, I'll just go ahead and get the big fish now. And in a month or 2, you know, angels, it'll probably be about a month, you know, they'll start producing. All right, check out these 2 guys right here. Now, one of the things you have to think about when you're breeding for profit is time. Now, yeah, you could go and get, you know, fish that are babies and get a whole bunch of them and wait 6 to 8 months till they're big enough to breed, or you can go ahead and spend the dough and get them at breeding size already. So, you know, these are all things you have to, hey, we got water, we got water. We're over here doing water changes and jabber join, and if you have a fish room and you jabber join, you know what happens. It's happened 4 times already. That means we're having good conversation. That's all that means right there. That's good company. But yeah, these are things you have to think about when you're breeding for profit. Is can you sell the fish? Where are you getting your breeding stock from? And how, you know, do you want to spend the money on big fish already? You know, sometimes it's going to cost you more money in the long run when you're trying to save money. You know what I mean? Like, you try, look, well, let me save some money and buy the baby fish and grow them up. Well, that's 6 months of you, 6 to 8 months of you water changing, prime, food, electricity, all that stuff for 6 to 8 months before they even spawn. Or you can go ahead and spring for the adult and wait about a month or so. That's as far as angels go. So
I don't know if you noticed it, but there's a piece of slate in the back of the tank. When you start to see those angelfish gravitate toward that slate, it means one thing and one thing only. And I'll let Mr. Aquafoam tell you what that is. Exactly. So this whole thing is about breeding for profit, right? So wouldn't it be cool if you got these guys and they were already trying to breed? That's just less time you have to spend prepping these fish to get them to breed. You know, they're instant breeders. That's how come a lot of times you'll see breeders cost a little bit more. It's because it does save you money. It's all up to you how much money you got, how much work you're trying to do. But yeah, so I'm real happy with the fish I'm looking at. Now, here's the thing with these fish right here. I am taking a chance getting these particular fish to breed for profit. And there's one reason. Most people do not know this particular fish. You have to be an angelfish geek to
know what a Bulgarian green seal point is. I am betting that most of my subscribers or followers or people that follow me are angel freaks or wanting to be angel freaks. So I'm pretty confident that, you know, these guys will sell. To be 100% honest with you, if I really wanted to make a lot of money breeding angelfish for profit, I would probably go with something a pet store would buy readily without question. For instance, marbles or kois. But I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to breed fish that are attainable, but not really all that popular or readily available. And that's why I'm going with these guys as one of my breeding stock. So, hey, I appreciate you checking out what I have going on over here at Aquatics. And I hope you all the best. I really do. Follow along, see how I'm doing. And I hope that if you decided to breed for profit, that you are successful. And you know what? Don't give up. Be patient. Learn from your mistakes. Don't give up because the first time, the second time, or third time it failed. You learn from your mistakes, and you will be a better and more profitable fish keeper for it.